Thank you, everyone who's joined us today. Head Coach Kenni Burns will open up with a statement about start camp.
Yeah, excited to be back. Obviously, it's been a long summer and a long winter, but our guys have worked extremely hard. So, really impressed with their dedication and commitment to our growth. And it's like I said, been a long summer, but a good one. And we're excited to get going in fall camp. A couple things I want to start with by just wishing all the fall sports a good luck this season. Women's soccer with Coach Rob trying to make it to another conference championship game, and then women's volleyball, Haley, wishing them the best of luck. And then field hockey, Coach Heather in her first season here, wishing her the best of luck. And then cross country, Coach Fager, who does a phenomenal job in track and field, and hopefully the cross country team will look no different. Also want to thank all the families of our coaches who dedicate so much to our program and have our players over and really make the summer here feel special. And then now as the coaches go away, a lot of our families will be left without their fathers for a little bit and without their husbands. So I wanted to say a special thanks to our Kent Grit families as well. When the season ended, I talked about being all in. I said it was really important for a football team to get aligned and everybody be all in, from the coaches to the players to the administration, everybody getting on the same page. And we spent the past 7 or 8 months doing that. And from a player standpoint, our guys came back to work. They worked extremely hard, did a great job in the weight room this winter and then this summer. And if you look at our team, we got bigger, faster, and stronger. We gained 88 pounds in the weight room as a team, led by Oliver Billick, who was plus 166 pounds. And that's a measure of our clean, our squat, and our bench. From a vertical jump standpoint, we got more explosive. We averaged 2 inches higher as a team than we did before. And then Rocco Nickel was plus 5.2. And we had J.D. Sherrod over 40 inches on a vertical jump, and so did Dallas Branch, and a handful of guys close to that. And then from a speed standpoint, we got about a half a mile faster as a football team, which seems really small, but as a team overall, that's really, really important. And that was big by Stephen Daly, who's a defensive lineman who's basically got clocked at a 21.5 laser time, miles per hour of laser time, which is unbelievable for a D lineman. So we got bigger, faster, stronger as a team, which is really, really important for a football program. From a coaching standpoint, how do we get aligned there? We brought 5 new coaches in. 4 of the guys have experience in the same system that I've been in. Either I coached with them, they played for me, or they worked for someone that is from the same tree that I'm in. And that's really, really cool for us as a program to get aligned. And then also, when you look at it from just winning, all these guys that we brought in have won conference championships at some point in their career. And then from an administration standpoint, the alignment there was really important. And what they've done is showed a commitment to our football program, getting everything it needs from resources. Academically, we've gotten more resources than we've ever had. From a meal and dietitian standpoint, there's been more money committed to that by our administration, which is phenomenal. And then when you look at just our support staff in general, we added 3 new positions: an on-campus recruiter, that Dadley, who's running that now, and then we also added an assistant DFO job as well, and then added 2 or 3 GA roles to help in the support staff world as well. So if you look at our program, we talked about all in, the alignment's definitely there from the players, from the coaches, and from the administration. So hopefully that doesn't promise you anything, but it definitely gives you a chance to win moving forward. So with that being said, I'll open up for questions.
Start with questions from Rob Lewinsky, voice of the Golden Flashes. He wants to know how you feel about the growth of the team since he last spoke to you at the end of spring.
Yeah, I feel like we're moving in the right direction. Are we there yet? No, obviously not. We got a lot of time to get. We don't have a lot of time, to get there, but we're definitely moving in the right direction. I think what the summer was, I wanted to see our team be in shape and be conditioned. The winter we wanted to get bigger and stronger. The summer is about getting faster and getting in shape, and I thought we did that. But until you put the pads on and see the development there and see them transition from what they've been doing to now making it make sense on the football field, then you'll know what kind of football team you got. But we definitely are trending in the right direction.
Okay. Another question from Rob. Heading into year 2, do you feel that you're further ahead at this point compared to where you were last year heading into camp?
Yeah, I mean, we're way further ahead than we were. When you look at our roster alone, I think year 1, as I talked to you about, it's like building a house. Year 1's about the dig. You're digging, trying to find out where the laying grenades are, trying to find out about your program, who you can trust, who you can't trust. Is there alignment there? Where the missing pieces at? Well, year 2, you found that. So now you're truly building the foundation of your football team. I always say year 1, they didn't choose what I'm giving them. I chose them. They didn't choose me. Year 2 now, that's different. The guys could have hopped in the portal. Guys that are here all chose to come back, knowing what the expectation was, knowing what they're buying as a freshman coming in here for the first time. So it's a lot more alignment from that standpoint, which is critical. And I think that naturally gets you ahead in the process of building your program. You look at 11 starters back on offense, 6 on defense, eight guys on defense that actually started in the game, but 6 returning true starters. So there's a lot of experience around here. It's still young and youthful, but there's definitely experience there.
Another question from Rob. Are there any position battles in particular you're looking forward to see how they progress in camp?
Yeah, I think corner is the big one. You look at our defense, we've got 3 returning starters on the defensive line. We've got a ton of experience at the linebacker position with the guys we have, and then we brought in guys that started other places that are going to bring some great competitive nature there. But in safety, you got Alex Branch back there, who's, in my opinion, is an all-conference talent. And then I think corner's the one where you lost both guys. We've got a ton of talent there. I think we're more talented than we were last year. But to see who comes out of that group will be critical in fall camp. And then obviously the quarterback battle is one that's real. Tommy's definitely going into camp as a leading guy. He's had a great offseason. But I think Devin Kirkman has also had a phenomenal offseason and a commitment to learning what we're doing. He's been a leader in the buying of the culture. And I think those 2 guys it's good. Last year, I didn't know if we had a quarterback. This year, I think we got 2 capable guys that have shown and proven that they can win games.
Just a quick reminder, if anyone else has any questions, please type them in the chat. We'll go to another question from Rob. Obviously, with being at camp, when do you kind of transition into preparing for game 1?
Yeah, I think I look at camp in 3 different phases. The first week is about evaluation. I think the first week of fall camp, we got to evaluate where we are as a football program. Okay, who can we trust? Who's gotten better? Where the competition battles at? Where the guys set in stone and we know they're going to be the starter. I think we're evaluating every single guy that first week or so, or 4 or 5 days. The second week is now you know where you're at development. Okay, now we start to develop our team. We start to develop them into the team we want them to become. We put more onus on them and everything, and make sure they're developing in the right direction. And then the third week to me is about mastering the system and then getting yourself prepared for the game. So we'll spend about 10 to 12 days out. We'll start preparing for Pitt, but there'll be some things in practice that we do that'll definitely have some similarities to what Pitt does and what we do.
Okay, I have a couple of questions here from Mike Rush from the Golden Flashers report. First question: can you talk about how the conference schedule sets up with you guys? First 2 at home.
Yeah, I think that's huge. I mean, talk about luck of the draw to get the first 2 games back here at Dick Stadium is awesome. And 2 respectable opponents, obviously, but 2 teams that I think we'll match up well with. But right now, we're totally focused on Pitt. But I think that's a major deal for our team after coming off one of the hardest I think ESPN said we had the group of 5, the hardest non-conference schedule out there. Coming off that and getting to a familiar environment to play your first conference game is critical.
Second part of Mike's question is, can you talk about the new pod system a little bit and the scrapping of the divisions?
The scrapping of divisions, I probably wasn't for, but I do think there's some good creative things they're doing with the pods, and I think it's a work in progress. But basically, keeping regional matchups and rivalries in line, and I think it's still really fresh and new, and I think we're all learning about it a little bit. But I think it could definitely benefit Kent State with who we're playing and keeping some of our rival games and some teams that are in close proximity aligned with us, which is good.
How is the overall health of the team?
I think we're going into fall camp in a really good spot. We don't have any guys out with season-ending injuries right now. We've got guys who've got some things that you typically have in the summer with hamstrings and stuff like that, but all recoverable stuff. But it was a hard summer. It was the hardest summer that these guys have ever had here, I believe. And our strength coach, Charles, challenged them a lot, and they had to take care of their bodies in order to come up to the standard that we were creating here. But from an overall health standpoint, we're in a good spot going into fall camp.
Okay. You recently took the team to Cedar Point. Kind of talk about how you felt it was important to reward them for the hard work they did all summer.
You know what? That was a deal where we just said that we got to keep our team connected, and we had put our heads down and worked for so long, even in winter conditioning all the way to the end of summer here, that how much time did me as a head coach create where these guys can have some bond time together away from work of football and the development of our program, and just find a way to make sure we're interconnected as a football team. So we did that. It was great. It was fun. I went down there with them and enjoyed it as well, but really excited about the connectivity of our football team.
Okay. Can you talk a little about the support of the Kent community heading into year two and how they kind of embraced you as you continue trying?
This is, I always say this, but Kent's a special place. I truly believe that. You don't really know what you're getting when you take a head coaching job from a support standpoint. But I've been just totally impressed with not just the administration, but the community, but the university, everybody just being aligned with what we're doing here and what we're attempting to build for the future. And I couldn't be more thankful for being the head coach of this place, and hopefully we can put some wins together this year to really bring some excitement back to our program.
You selected Oliver Bella and Sean Cray to go represent the team at Media Day. Can you kind of talk about their role to this team, why you made that selection?
Yeah, just leaders. When I think of Kent Grit, I think about the overall envision of a person, and both of those guys represent that. Sean is a phenomenal teammate. Obviously, his talent speaks for itself on the field, all first-team all-conference player, but someone that is selling the brand of Kent Grit to our, not just our players, but to the community, to everybody, and living the lifestyle that I expect out of our players. And then Oliver is I think, the salt of the earth. He has two phenomenal parents who raised him to do everything with a standard of sharpness and correctness, and just really, really impressed with him as a young man. He's a starter for us. I expect him to have a great year this year. He's one of our bigger vocal leaders. He's a guy that gets guys to follow him, and just really impressed with him, and blessed to have both of those guys on our roster.
Student athlete that a lot of fans are curious about is young man you coached at Minnesota, Kai Thomas. Can you kind of tell us what fans can expect from him?
Yeah, I go back with Kai for a long time, since he was a freshman at Minnesota, and me following him in classes and making sure he's going to class, and now to see him graduate and have a degree. And last year I had to sit out with the two transfer rule, but he is someone who's just put his head down and worked. And he came into this team not knowing a lot of these guys, but knowing me and trusting me. He's extremely, extremely talented. I think you're going to be very impressed with what you see. He's a guy that rushed for, I believe, 900 yards in the Big Ten as a true freshman. That shows you about his ability right there. He's got to get gelled with his offensive line, and looking at the 1-2 punch of him and Gavin Garcia, which I think Gavin has had a phenomenal offseason as well. But those two, they're 1A and 1B, and it gives us a lot of depth in that position, which I'm excited about.
All right, question from Rob Polinsky. Who are some of the younger players and newcomers you think can step into bigger roles this year?
There's a couple that come to mind right away. I think of Cade Wolford. He's a running back from Ohio that came in and had a phenomenal summer. You really don't know until they put the pads on how much you're going to get out of him, but the way he's trending is one that I'm definitely impressed with. Then you look at Nyland Brown on defense, linebacker from Ben Davis, comes from a winning tradition. I mean, Ben Davis won several state championships in Indiana. And he came in, and his leadership and his presence is something you can't coach. And I've been really, really impressed with him. Then Elijah up front. Elijah is a center who's from Cathedral, Toledo, Central Catholic, Toledo, and did a great job down there. And another guy who was in a state championship, won a state championship. That's just got a presence and a aura about him that you can see him playing.
If anyone has any more questions, go ahead and type them in the chat here for us. I guess, Coach, we go back up here. There was one I skipped. What areas do you expect to see the largest growth in your team?
Well, I think there's two. We call it the ball. Who said the ball is the program here? That means that when you have the ball in your hands, you got to protect it on offense, and then on defense, you got to go get it. I think we put a big emphasis in that last year. I think last year we finished near the bottom of the conference in the ball and getting the ball out and protecting it. So, in the turnover margin in general. So we've got to really fix that. We've done a good job this offseason of addressing it, but now we've got to put it into action as we get into conference and game play.
All right, Coach. Thank you for your time. Unless you have anything else to add on?
No, I'm excited for the season. Appreciate all the support. Go Flashes and Kent Grit. Thank you.